From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
They understand that coming home isn't always easy.
Arizona Senator Jeff Flake takes the stand for veterans across the country, how he plans to improve treatment for our war heroes.
That Mexico won't pay for Trump's stupid, dumb border wall.
Tensions building in Congress. We find out how much money could go into Trump's border programs.
And childhood hunger in Arizona is on the rise. How we tell you how a Valley program can fight that issue with just a text.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Madison Connor.
And I'm Felisa Cardenas. Thank you for joining us. The last time Congress voted to send U.S. troops into combat was more than 15 years ago. That's when lawmakers authorized the president to take military action in response to the 9/11 attacks and to invade Iraq. But some lawmakers are now saying it's been too long since Congress has had a say. Senator Jeff Flake says it's time for a new authorization for the use of military force. Cronkite News reporter Alex Valdez has more from our Washington bureau.
The political parties are often at war with each other here in Washington, D.C., but Arizona's Republican Senator Jeff Flake and Virginia Democratic Senator Tim Kaine recently found common ground on what they say is the need for a new AUMF, or the authorization for the use of military force. The senators say U.S. military actions of the last 15 years has started to stray from actions that were okayed by Congress.
There's our legal justification for taking military action against the government of Syria. They weren't the perpetrators of the 9/11 attack, so it's not the 2001 authorization. It's not Iraq, it's not the 2002 authorization.
Kaine said the previous AUMFs have been used in 14 different countries on 37 different occasions since 2001. Kaine and Flake believe it's time for a new authorization that better reflects the current reality in the Middle East.
So in the version that we've drafted now, we've kind of tried to make it a little more of a template, not just authorizing action against ISIS, but thinking about what it is to authorize action against non-state actors.
Flake said the feedback from constituents has been positive, but that Congress should not wait to reclaim the role laid out for it in the Constitution.
And if it's not, we're not being pushed by our constituents. I think it's our responsibility, constitutional responsibility, to make this right and to recognize that we're more effective, and if we want to succeed internationally with these conflicts, we need to speak with one voice.
Previous attempts at a new AUMF have failed, but the senators worked together to craft a bill they think can survive.
We do three things in this that I think are important. One, we have a very specific definition of who it is we're fighting against. Who are we fighting against? Let's be really clear about it. Where are we fighting? And the third thing is duration.
For Flake, working across the aisle again has been refreshing.
We're leading that meeting, and Senator Kaine and I saying to each other, this is why we came to the Senate. It's discussions like this, where a bipartisan group of people sit down together and say, what is the way forward?
The way forward could still be an issue for the bill. A similar bill proposed by Flake and Kaine in 2015 didn't even get a vote on by the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, the same committee that their current bill is currently pending through. Live in Washington, I'm Alex Valdez, Cronkite News.
And Senator Flake is taking the stand for veterans across the country. Yesterday, he testified before the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, advocating for his bill, the Veterans Treatment Court Improvement Act. The bill would increase outreach specialist staff for treatment courts across the country and will expand access for struggling veterans. In his hearing, Flake recalled his visit to the Mesa Municipal Court in April.
Let me tell you, there is no experience or no substitute for seeing this experience firsthand. Even though it's a courtroom setting, there's a camaraderie and collaboration that you just don't see in a traditional courtroom setting.
Flake said although the program has been successful, the demand for outreach specialists is outpacing its ability to serve all veterans. Last year, Cronkite News reporter Dylan Eddy heard from both judges and veterans who said the program works.
Within 72 hours, I was back in Philadelphia, and 4 days later, I was arrested for aggravated assault.
Timothy Wynn, a combat Marine who served honorably during the invasion of Iraq, found himself spiraling out of control.
I used drugs and alcohol to cope with, what I now know as PTSD.
Wynn was arrested 7 times, but instead of being sent to prison, he entered into the Veterans Treatment Court system, which he says saved his life.
All of a sudden, you're kind of focused on a mission again. That's what we're used to, and that mission, of course, is recovery.
What exactly is a Veterans Treatment Court? A video provided by Justice for Vets explains.
These veterans-only courtrooms offer treatment, accountability, and structure, while connecting them to benefits they have earned. If there is no Veterans Treatment Court available, they may end up in jail, separated from family, without treatment, and stuck in a cycle from which they may never recover.
These treatment courts grow out of similar diversion courts for mental illness and drug addiction. Judge Robert Russell explained an encounter that he had with a Vietnam vet in these similar courts, which led him to create the first veteran treatment court in Buffalo back in 2008.
He was standing erect. His his stance was slightly parted. His hands was behind his back. And he looked me direct in the eyes and said, "Judge, I'm going to try harder."
Kingman Municipal Court Judge Jeffrey Singer said this in regards to the establishment of treatment courts.
I just think they're wonderful because it gives veterans who serve their country a second chance. They're in a lot better place in life when they graduate the program than when they first entered into the program.
That was Dylan Eddy reporting in D.C. last year. With 2.5 million Americans who have served in Iraq and Afghanistan, the hope is that these treatment courts can ease the transition home.
Right now, investigators in Mississippi are trying to figure out what caused a military plane to crash, killing 16 service members. 7 of those were headed to Arizona. Cronkite News reporter Tyler Finger is in our broadcast center with the very latest. Tyler?
Investigators are still combing through the wreckage of that military transport plane to figure out what caused it to go down mid-flight. But we know 7 of those on board, 6 Marines and 1 sailor, were heading to a Marine Corps air station in Yuma for training. At the site of the crash, honoring the lives lost. It's one of the deadliest military plane crashes in recent history. 15 Marines and a Navy corpsman killed.
Indications are something went wrong at cruise altitude. There is a large debris pattern.
The aircraft, a Marine KC-130 cargo plane, left North Carolina on Monday afternoon, heading to California, but it never made it.
At first, it looked like a acrobatic plane, like a stunt plane, blowing the smoke out the back, and then all of a sudden you realize that the smoke's coming off one of the sides of the wing.
Military officials say the crash left 2 impact sites nearly a mile apart. In New York, where several of the Marines were stationed, shock and sadness.
We were preparing for 9, and we're going to help the Marines and as best as we can.
According to the Marine Forces Reserve, the 7 service members heading to Arizona were to land in El Centro and then drive to Yuma. At this point, the military isn't releasing names of those killed. They say that will happen in the coming days after family is notified. It's not clear yet whether anyone on board is from Arizona. In the broadcast center, Tyler Finger, Cronkite News.
The House Appropriation Committee revealed its 2018 budget plan yesterday. The Homeland Security bill includes $1.6 billion to fund Trump's border wall. If approved, funding would also increase capacity in detention centers, upgrade border security technology, and hire more Border Patrol agents. Republicans are calling the money a top priority, but not everybody seems to agree. U.S. Representative Ruben Gallego proposed an amendment on another bill that would prevent defense funding being used to build the wall.
They didn't have the courage to oppose my amendment in committee or even on the House floor. They passed this rule late at night with hardly anyone watching in typical Republican fashion.
The House Rules Committee invoked what Gallego calls rarely employed parliamentary procedure that could block his amendment. The rule governing debate on the bill still needs to be voted on by the full House.
Governor Doug Ducey will join governors tomorrow in Rhode Island to discuss issues affecting their states. Governors will be talking about the GOP health care bill, Medicaid funding, and climate change. Vice President Mike Pence is expected to address the governors in the meeting. 30 governors from different states, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands said they would attend.
And Ducey is touting Arizona's economic success, saying our highly trained workforce, 21st century government, and strong international relationships are making the state a great place to do business. Ducey says Arizona is becoming a car capital for a new technology era, with an executive order in the state allowing residents to ride Google self-driving Waymo cars. And many low-income parents rely on free school lunches every year.
But no school means no meals in the summer. Coming up on Cronkite News, how the No Kid Hungry program is keeping kids fed across the state.
And back to school is just around the corner, and notebooks and pens might not be the only thing your kids need. How a new software partnership can get students involved with just a click.
I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now. About now.
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in. Arizona State wins. Keeping one deep, and it is caught. Jalen Strong. Do you believe
Childhood hunger is a bigger problem in the summer when school is out. Since 2012, Arizona's Summer Food Service Program has seen its participation rate drop by over 50%, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The Summer Food Service Program is working to change those numbers. Arizona participation levels in the summer meal program are low at 12%, according to No Kid Hungry. But there is plenty of need for the program.
And specifically in Summer Meals program, we know that there are dollars available through the Summer Meals, through USDA and state agencies that administer the program. There are partners on the ground that are serving these meals. We see that there is an awareness gap.
There are dozens of locations that participate in the program across the state. But between location, times, and dates, the information just wasn't easy to find. For one child, that meant traveling far in order to get a meal.
I don't live around here. Though. My dad picked me up at my house, and I come here.
No Kid Hungry launched a service to help families find locations close to home. Getting all of this information is now as simple as sending a simple text. The process is simple. Text food or comida to 877-877. Put in your zip code and then scroll through the list of programs closest to you, and it seems to be working.
So far this year, we've had over 300,000 texts to the service. This is actually more just this year than in all previous years combined.
All children 18 and under are eligible to participate in the program, so take advantage of this service while it lasts. Some locations close as early as August 2nd.
Valley-based company Notebowl has partnered with Canvas, a learning management system. Cronkite News reporter Kevin Cusack has the details on this special partnership.
Current ASU student Jason Schiffman used Canvas at Mesa Community College before transferring over to ASU. Canvas is currently used by many colleges across the country. It's a way for teachers to post assignments and share grades. But now with the addition of technology from Notebowl, students and teachers will be able to collaborate in a Facebook-like environment as well.
Overall, I thought
user-friendly.
The partnership between the Scottsdale-based Note Bowl and Canvas was announced last month.
Students will be able to interact organically, and I think that's definitely something that's going to be useful, especially for like online only colleges like Rio Salado.
According to Note Bowl CEO Andrew Chaffetz, this is the first time that both students and faculty can communicate and collaborate organically in their online classrooms, which brings to life the community aspect of a classroom like never before. As well, in their assignments and discussion boards, Canvas users can access Note Bowl anytime through the Note Bowl button.
And we allow the institutions to be able to customize it to their needs and brings that social learning style to their classroom that they've been wanting.
What I've noticed is the need for social learning. I think students and faculty weren't aware, and administrators weren't aware of this capability of social learning.
Together, Note Bowl and Canvas, bringing social learning to millions worldwide. In Scottsdale, Kevin Cusack, Cronkite News.
Maricopa Community Colleges and the Tempe Union High School District also use Canvas. Note Bowl's office is located at the ASU Skysong campus. And some football players make it big in college, but getting into the NFL can be challenging.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we give you a closer look at former Sun Devil quarterback and where his football career stands today.
The high today was 106, and you see that humidity? What that means for your weekend coming up after the break.
Heaven knows you're a dreamer. Don't hide it from anyone. Don't hide it from anyone. Hey, would you believe me if I said we are here for a reason now? This is our life. This is what counts. This is for us. I will go anywhere for you.
Although monsoon season is here, temperatures are still reaching the triple digits.
Blakely McHugh is in the Weather Center with your full 7-day forecast.
So like I said before the break, the humidity is up at 28%, which is why it doesn't feel like our typical Arizona dry heat. The average temperatures for this time is right around 107. So we're right around that with a record high of 115 in 2009. Now let's look at the temperatures across the state right now. In Tucson, it's 99, 109 in Lake Havasu, and a cool 70 in Prescott. Wouldn't it be nice to be in Prescott right now? Looking at the temperatures across the valley at 6 p.m., it's going to be 106 in Buckeye, 102 in Casa Grande, and 103 in Scottsdale. Now I know we're all thinking, when is it going to drop out of the triple digits? Well, it's going to be at 10 o'clock, 96 in Goodyear, 91 in Casa Grande, and 97 in Phoenix. Now let's look at our 7-day forecast. You can see that rain percentage is jumping up to 20% on Friday and Saturday. Now that's going to rise into Monday and Tuesday as well to 30%, with a cool temperature of 98 on Monday. For Cronkite Weather, I'm Blakely McHugh.
Summer weather means football season is nearing, and one ASU football hero is trying to make it big. Mike Bercovici rose up the depth chart and led the Sun Devils to the most memorable comeback win over USC 3 years ago. Cronkite News Los Angeles reporter Devin Gooden tells us how this quarterback is trying to make a name for himself in the NFL.
The last time fans saw Mike Bercovici in an ASU football uniform was the team's 2015 loss to Cal. Now, after a year away from football, Bercovici is making a second attempt to grab a roster spot with the Los Angeles Chargers.
Study the playbook and the plays that I knew and some of the workouts that I went to. It gave me a lot of confidence coming back here.
Even after his first cut from the Chargers, Bercovici had no doubt that he would see a professional training camp again.
The day he got released to the day they called back, he never lost faith. He continued to work because he knew he'd get a call back at some point. Didn't know when, but at some point he would.
During his year away from the league, Bercovici started to prepare for life without football and improve his skills in a different field.
He was being mentored by some commercial real estate folks out in Arizona, which he really enjoyed. He was learning that side of the business because at one point you gotta go to the real world and you're not playing games anymore.
It was in January when Mike was offered a second chance to make the Chargers team. But this summer, he still faces the obstacle of making the final 53-man squad.
It was the phone call I was waiting for. I was late in the last week of the season, and the immediate reaction was like, this is the opportunity I want.
Last year, the Chargers retained only 2 quarterbacks, longtime starter Phillip Rivers and former Oregon standout Kellen Clemens. But Bercovici enters this season confident he can make the team.
Those guys have been here double-digit seasons in the NFL, and I'd really admire that. But, you know, in year 2, I want to be at that same level, the same command, and I think that guys respect that.
In Los Angeles, Devin Gooden, Cronkite News.
In short order, the Sun Devil grad will be tested when quarterbacks report to training camp on July 29th. And some people hit the gym for heavy lifting or yoga to stay fit,
while others might turn to running or spin classes. But coming up on Cronkite News, we'll show you how one Valley Center is bouncing its way into a new fitness routine.
Fascinating. You know, sometimes I wish I wasn't so beloved.
Can't you see? Little girl got a hold on me like wow. Baby, I'm howling for you.
It's literally one for the history books.
Enjoy.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
This new exercise class might stretch your muscles to the limit. Blakely McHugh shows us how one gym is using bungee cords to pull the most out of your workout.
It takes strength, endurance, and a little bit of coordination to complete America's first bungee workout. The workout originated in Thailand, starting out as a bungee dance, which catered to aerialists, but now is a bungee workout meant for the everyday person.
2 months after I opened, I saw a video in Thailand of the bungee workout, completely fell in love with it, flew to Thailand. I called them, I said, hey, how do I get this out here? I flew to Thailand, spent 2 weeks out there, 132 hours, became a master trainer.
Amanda Page, owner and operator of Tough Lotus, says she gets similar reactions from people who try it for the first time.
Totally, same reaction from everyone. They all thought it was going to be fun. They said it was even more fun than they thought it was. And then everyone says, and it's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be also.
The bungee workout is a high-intensity, low-impact workout that pushes you to use almost every muscle in the body. The bungee workout is a lot harder than it looks. Its job is to pull you up while you resist it using your quads and your core. The workout also involves dancing, cardio, and upper body strength. Paige says it's a full body workout without even knowing it.
Can't do these moves 50%. You have to give 100% for everything, or else you're not going to make the move.
First timers Jillian and Allison Gabrowski say it was challenging, even with their dance background.
This isn't like any other workout we've ever done. Dancing, this is even harder than dancing, I think. Just a lot more core and...
You use different muscles.
Yes, absolutely.
My legs are still shaking.
And only 9 people at a time can sign up for the 75-minute class. In Chandler, Blakely McHugh, Cronkite News.
Paige is working on creating other bungee workouts, such as Bungee Fit, Bungee Kids, and a less intense, slower-paced class in order to cater to all types of people.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, we'll find out why so many major concert tours are launched here in the Valley, and we'll check out the sport of wheelchair rugby, also known as murder ball. That's the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm Judy Woodruff on the next NewsHour. Our Russia series goes to the country's southern border and asks why so many Russians have joined ISIS. That's Wednesday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.